أعزائي طلبة وطالبات الصف الثالث الثانوي أو الثيرد سكندري، بنرحب بيكم في حلقة جديدة ومدرسة على الهوا. معادنا دلوقتي مع مادة الفيزيكس، هنعمل ريفيجن على المنهج كله. وقبل ما نبتدي حلقتنا عايزين نرحب بمستر محمود يحيى الهواري مدرس المادة. بنرحب بيك.
Hello.
مستر محمود.
Hello, dear student. We start our revision in writing some rules in physics. The first, current intensity passing through the whole circuit is equal to Vp over R plus R. This law is called Ohm's law for closed circuit. Ohm's law for closed circuit. This law is deal with all circuit. I represent the current intensity, V represent EMF of the battery, and R, capital letter, represent the total resistance which is found in the circuit, and R small is internal resistance of the battery. Second law, magnetic flux density due to straight wire carrying a current in magnetic field. B equal mu I equal over 2 by D. I will tell you again this law. Magnetic flux density in a straight wire carrying a current, B equal mu I over 2 by D. We can find the direction of field by using Ampere right-hand rule. Ampere right-hand rule to find the direction of current in a straight wire. Second law, B equals mu I N over 2R. This is the law to find the magnetic flux density in the center of circular coil. Mu, it called magnetic permeability. I represent current intensity, N number of turns, and R is radius. Also, we can find the magnetic flux density in solenoid. B equals, or beta equal, mu I N over L. N over L is called number of turn per unit length. Number of turn per unit length, N over L, N capital letter over L. And also we can find the number of turns by using this rule. N equals L over 2 by R. 2 by R is the circumference of each circular coil. N equal L over 2R. The second law, force acting on a straight wire carrying a current in magnetic field. Force equals L I B sine theta. L represent the length of the wire, I current intensity, B is the magnetic flux density, sine theta or theta is the angle between the wire and the magnetic field. If theta equals 90, the force is maximum. And if theta equals 0, the force equals 0. And when the wire carrying a current in magnetic field, the force acting on this wire is equal to F equal LIB sine theta. And after this we can find the torque acting on a wire placed on a coil placed in magnetic field. Torque equals B I A N sine theta. In order to obtain torque, we need two equal forces having the same magnitude and opposite direction, and between them is distance. Beta represents magnetic flux density, and I current intensity, and A is the area, N number of turn, and sine theta. Theta is the angle between normal and plane of coil. Plane of coil. So, in order to find the torque, B equal BIN sine theta, the unit of torque is equal Newton meter. And also we can find the induced EMF in straight wire. EMF equals B L V sine theta. B magnetic flux density, L length of wire, and V is linear velocity. Linear velocity. There is a relation between linear velocity and the angular velocity. V equals omega times R. Omega represent angular velocity and R represent radius. So we can find the induced EMF or the average induced EMF in a wire moves perpendicular in magnetic field of flux density B and moving with velocity V, and the length of the wire is equal to L. And also we can find the average induced EMF. EMF average equals N delta phi over delta T. Negative, it means Lenz's rule, according to Lenz's rule, which states that the direction of induced current opposes the change producing it, so we put negative sign in this rule, which is average EMF is equal to negative N delta phi over delta T. We find that EMF is directly proportional to delta phi and inversely proportional to delta T, which is the time of cutting the magnetic flux lines. Also, average induced EMF in quarter cycle is equal to average induced EMF in half cycle. So EMF in generator is equal to NAB omega. This EMF, maximum EMF. So if there is an angle, we can write sine theta. When theta equals 90, the coil is parallel to the field. So EMF equal NAB omega. EMF equals NAB omega. Omega equals 2 by nu. Nu represents the frequency, and by is equal to 22 over 7. When we find to get theta, theta equal 2 by nu t. By equal 180, and the nu represent frequency and t represent time. There is a difference between the by in theta and the by in omega. By in omega is equal to 22 over 7, and by in theta is equal to 100. So EMF in generator is equal to NAB omega sine theta. And also we can find how many times the AC current reach maximum and how many times the AC current reach zero. When a current reach maximum, number of times equals 2 times frequency, and when current reach zero, the time is 2 nu plus 1. So how many times does the AC current reach maximum is equal to 2 times nu, and how many times to reach 0? 2 times nu plus 1, according to the sine curve, which I will draw it. In this point, A, B, C, D, E. At point B and D, the current is maximum, but at point A, C, D, the current is 0. So the number of time that current reach is 0 is equal to 2 nu plus 1, and when it reach maximum is equal to 2 times nu. And after this, we find the law of mass action. Law of mass action, which is Pn equals Ni square. Ni square, it represents concentration of electrons or hole in pure crystal. So this law is called law of mass action. Pn is equal to Ni square. P represent concentration of hole, and N represent the concentration of electron, and Ni square represent the concentration of hole in pure crystal. And we will solve a problem. The problem is calculate the length of the solenoid which makes, we want to calculate the length of solenoid which makes magnetic flux density, at a point inside it equal half that at center of circular coil. The solution is P, magnetic flux density in solenoid, is equal to half B in circular coil. So mu in over L equals mu in over 2R. So we can cancel. So in this case we can cancel mu, and then L equal 4R, and then L equal 4 times 6 equals 24. This is the first problem. The second problem, calculate the current intensity. Calculate the current intensity through a circular coil, of diameter 22 centimeter and 49 turns. The diameter is equal to 22 and the diameter is equal to 49 turns, and produces magnetic flux, density 7 times 10 power negative 5 Tesla. If its turn is displaced uniformly and become solenoid, the circular coil becomes solenoid, and having length 11 centimeter. Calculate flux density at point along its axis. Mu equals 4 pi times 10 power negative 7 and pi equal 22 over 7. The solution will be B equals B, which is magnetic flux density, equals mu in over 2R, which is equal to 2 times 11 times 10 power negative 2 times 7 times 10 power negative 5 over 4 pi times 10 power negative 7 times 49, which is equal to 0.25 ampere. This is the current intensity. And then B solenoid equals mu in over L, which is equal to 4 pi times 10 power negative 7 times 0.25 times 49 over 11 times 10 power negative 2. The magnetic flux density will be 14 times 10 power negative 6 Tesla. From first part of this problem we find the current intensity, and the second part of this problem we find the magnetic flux density at the solenoid. And we will continue our revision, and we have some of previous exams in physics.
طب أنا معايا questions يا Mr. محمود. معايا question بيقول mention the function for each of the following. Number 1, PN junction.
First, the function of PN junction. PN junction. We know that p-n junction consists of p-type and n-type. p-type composed of crystal of silicon or germanium doped with element of third group, and n-type doped with element of fifth group. p-n junction is used, the answer is used to rectify AC current, half wave rectification, half wave rectification. According to the figure, we know that the AC current changes its direction each half cycle, and if the current of AC current passes through the p-n junction, it will pass in half direction, or it means rectified. This is the uses of p-n junction, is used to rectify AC current to have half wave rectification.
Type number 2, Fleming's right hand rule.
Fleming right hand rule. Fleming right hand rule, right hand rule to find direction of induced current in a wire passing in a wire in magnetic field, in magnetic field. So Fleming right hand rule to find the direction of induced current. There is a difference between Fleming right hand rule and the Fleming left hand rule. Fleming left hand rule to find the direction of force acting on a wire placed in magnetic field, but Fleming right hand rule to find the direction of current in a straight wire in magnetic field.
Type
And
number 3, the X-rays.
X-rays. X-rays, there are many uses of X-rays. First, in medicine. In medicine. In imaging bones. Imaging bones. Also, to test for metals and crystals. So, X-rays in medicine, it is used in imaging bones and test for metals and crystals. This is the
Number
the
4,
use of X-rays.
number 4, manometer.
Manometer. Manometer is a device. Manometer is used to find pressure difference, or delta B, of enclosed gas, or pressure or absolute pressure of enclosed gas, or absolute pressure of enclosed gas. We can use this rule: P gas equals PA plus or minus delta B. We use plus if the pressure of gas is greater than the atmospheric pressure. We use minus if the pressure of gas is less than the atmospheric pressure. So B gas is equal PA plus or minus delta B. This is the uses of manometer.
طيب عندنا exercise تاني يا مستر محمود بيقول trace by drawing the path of a ray of light shown in 90 degrees.
We have triangular prism. The angle of triangular prism 45, 45 and 90. The angle is 45, 45, 90. And the critical angle is equal to 42. We know that if the ray have angle more than critical angle, the ray totally reflects. In this case, the ray falls normally. When the ray falls normally, the angle of incidence equals 0 because the ray lie on the normal. So the ray does not suffer any refraction. So the ray penetrates through the glass prism. And then at this point inside the prism, we draw the normal. This normal on this side. So the angle is 90 and 45 and 45. So the angle of incidence inside the prism is equal to 45. Angle of incidence equals 45. We find that 45 greater than 42, so the ray totally reflect with the same angle. So this angle 45, and the ray emerges perpendicular. So angle of emergence equals to 0. So in this case, the ray totally reflect inside the prism and emerge from the prism with angle equals 0, because the ray comes on the normal. So the angle of emergence in this case equal 0.
Okay. A metallic wire of length 30 meter and cross section area 0.3 centimeter squared,
Yes.
whose resistive is 5 times 10 power negative 7 ohm
Yeah.
meter, is connected in a series with a resistance 8.5 ohms, a battery of EMF 18 volts of
80 volts and of internal resistance 1 ohm.
Calculate the intensity of the electric current passing through such a circuit.
So first we must find the resistance of the wire from this law. Rho equals R A over L. Rho resistivity, which is equal to 5 times 10 power negative 7, is equal to R unknown times the area equals 0.3 times 10 power negative 4 over 30. R equal, in this case, then R equals 0.5 ohm. The two wires are connected in series, so R total equals R1 plus R2. R1 equal 8.5 and R2 is equal to 0.5. Then the equivalent resistance is equal to 9 ohm. We want to find the current intensity passing through the circuit, so we must use Ohm's law for closed circuit. I equals VB over R plus R. I represent the current intensity. VB, the EMF of the battery, R the total resistance, and R is the internal resistance. So VB equal 18 volts and R equal 9 plus 1 is equal to 18 over 10 equal 1.8 ampere. The current passing through the circuit, current equal I equal 1.8 ampere. So in this problem, we find the resistance of the wire, and we know that the two wires are connected in series. We find the total resistance of them R1 plus R2, which is equal to 9 ohm. And after this, we apply Ohm's law for closed circuit, which is I equal VB over R plus R. VB represents EMF of the battery, and R represents the resistance of the wires, and 1 represents the internal resistance of the circuit.
I compare between the two types of doped semiconductors from the point of view the kind impurities.
We have two kinds of semiconductor, B-type and N-type. B-type crystal of silicon doped with element of third group as boron. But N-type crystal of silicon or germanium doped with element of fifth group as antimony. In N-type, the charge carrier is electron, and in B-type, the charge carrier is holes, positive hole. The two crystals, B-type and N-type, are neutral, but B-type has negative potential and the N-type has positive potential.
Compare between the number of turns of the primary and the secondary coil of step-up transformers.
A step-up transformer in step-up transformer. We know that the step-up transformer increases voltage and decreases current. Increases voltage and decreases current. So we can make comparison between number of turns of secondary and the primary coil in step-up transformer, NB and NS. NB is the number of turns of primary coil and NS is number of turns in secondary coil. We find that number of turns of primary coil less than number of turns of secondary coil. So number of turns of secondary coil more than the number of turns of primary coil. So NS greater than NB. I want to explain something about transformer. Transformer, we know that is used to step up or step down AC voltage. The rule is Vs over Vp equal Ns over Nb equal Ib over Is. So step up increases voltage and decreases current. And if we connect the primary coil with AC voltage, primary coil is connected to AC voltage, and secondary coil circuit is open. The question again, if we connect the primary coil with AC voltage and the secondary coil circuit is open, we find that there is no energy consumed in this case, because the current passing through the primary coil will be a current against it according to self-induction or back EMF, which make the current equal 0 in the primary coil. So the energy consumed in this case equal 0. So I will tell you the answer again. If the circuit of the secondary coil open and the primary coil is connected to AC voltage, we find there is no energy consumed because the current intensity is equal to 0 due to back EMF or self-induction, which is formed in the wire, which make the current is equal to 0. And another question.
Explain withdrawing an experiment to show that equal volumes of different gases at constant pressure expand equally when heated through the same interval of temperature.
The question is equal volume of different gases expand equally when they have same temperature at constant pressure. We get two equal flasks. The first filled with oxygen and the second filled with carbon dioxide. We have two equal flasks. The first filled with oxygen and the second filled with carbon dioxide. The two flasks are trapped with a thread of mercury. This is thread of mercury. Then we put the two flasks inside hot water. So the steps are get two equal flasks first, and then containing oxygen and carbon dioxide. The two gases are trapped with a thread of mercury. then submerge or put the two flasks inside container containing hot water. We find that carbon dioxide and oxygen will expand, and when the gas expands, will make pressure on a thread of mercury. So the thread of mercury in the container which has oxygen will move a distance, and also in carbon dioxide the mercury will move a distance. We find that the two distances are equal, so the expansion of carbon dioxide is equal to the expansion of oxygen. That means equal volume of different gases expand equally when they have the same rise in temperature at constant pressure. That means alpha, which is coefficient of volume expansion for all gases, is equal to 170/73 Joule per Kelvin or per Celsius. Kelvin or per Celsius. This is called coefficient of volume expansion. And another question?
A major artery of radius 0.5 centimeter. The speed of blood through it is 0.4 meter per second.
Meter per second is divided
Into numbers of capillary of radius 0.2 centimeter each, and the speed of the blood through each capillary is 0.25. Find the number of capillaries.
We want to find the number of capillaries. We know that from the Law's equation of continuity, A1 V1 equals N A2 V2. This law is equation or law of continuity, equation of continuity. That means the volume flow rate which enters the tube is equal to the volume flow rate that leaves the tube. We know that the area equal by R1 square V1 equals N by R2 square V2. We can cancel by with by. Then R1 square V1 equals N R2 square V2. We have R1 and R2 and V1 and V2. We can find N. We can make substitution. So R1 square V1 equal N R2 square V2. So R1 equals 0.5 times 10 power negative 2 all square times 0.4, which is equal to N times 0.2 times 10 power negative 4 to convert it into meter square times 0.25. Then N equal 10 branches. Then N equal 10. Let's move to another question.
Choose the correct answer from between brackets. Number 1, when a coil rotates in a magnetic field, the direction of the induced electromotive force produced in the coil is changed into?
We know that the induced EMF is alternating EMF, AC EMF. That means it changes its direction each half cycle. So the answer is the direction of induced EMF is changing each half cycle. Each half cycle, the direction is changed. Direction is changed. Another question?
Patient series lie in the ultraviolet, in the visible light, in the infrared, or the X-rays region?
The second question, which is
Patient
patient series lies in the region ultraviolet or visible light or infrared. Patient, it lies in region, lies in infrared region, infrared region. We have 5 spectrum: Lehman, Balmer, Paschen, bracket, and be found. The last three in infrared. They have short wavelengths and high frequency. And Lyman in ultraviolet. Very short wavelengths and high frequency. And Balmer in visible region. I told you now the spectrum of hydrogen: Lyman, Balmer, Bushin, bracket, and Bifont.
1.013 bar equal 0.76, 7.6, 760, 7,600 torr.
Yeah, the atmospheric pressure is equal to 1.013 bar is equivalent to 760 torr. This is the value of atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is equivalent to the pressure arising from a mercury column of length 760 millimeter merc and the cross-sectional area 1 millimeter square or 1 meter square. So 1.013 bar is equivalent to 760 torr. And another question.
The unit of measuring the resistance of a coil is?
Resistance, we know that resistance equal potential difference over current intensity. Potential difference, its unit is volt, and the current intensity is ampere. It can be write volt ampere power negative 1. This is equivalent to ohm. So the unit of electric resistance, volt ampere power negative 1, or we can say it ohm.
In the opposite figure, the tone emitted from the string is?
We have a string, it makes 3 segments as shown in the figure. I will draw it. The first segment, second, third segment. The length of this string 150 centimeter. So N equal 3. Tone emitted in this case is called second over tone. Second over tone. The first question is the tone emitted is second over tone. This is the first. And the second question is
the velocity of the transverse wave propagating in the string.
We want to find the velocity of this.
Equal 340 meter per second.
So the velocity is equal to 340 meter per second is given. 340 meter per second. We want to find the frequency. In order to find the frequency, we find the wavelength of the wave. Lambda equals 2L over N. Lambda equals 2 times 150 over 3 is equal to 100 centimeter. That's equal to 1 meter. If we want to find the frequency, nu equals V over lambda, which is equal to 340 divided 1 equal 340 hertz Hz. This is the frequency of this tone. And
a metallic wire is wrapped in the form of circular coil of radius 7 centimeter and 4 turns carries an electric current which generates a magnetic field at the center of the flux density equal 3.52 times 10 power negative 5.
Yeah.
If the coil is trashed such that it becomes straight wire and the same current flows through it, and it is placed in the direction making an angle 30 degrees with the direction of a magnetic field of flux.
Find
the force acting on the wire.
The coil is converted or changed into straight wire. And we know that the law of straight wire, to find the force, F equals LIB sine theta. So we must find length and the current intensity and magnetic flux density in order to find the force. force equals LIB sine theta again. And if you want to get the force, you find the length and the current intensity and the magnetic flux density. First, we find the magnetic flux density in the coil. B equals mu I N over 2R, which is equal to the B is given. So the current intensity in this case, I equals 0.98 ampere. So we get the current. And also we want to find the number of turns. N equals L over 2 by R. L over 2 by R, we can find the number of turns. Then L equal N 2 by R. N times 2 by R. And after this we find the force. Force equals LIB sine theta. We have L, which is equal to N times 2 by R times I times B times sine theta. We can find the magnetic flux density. B in case of magnetic flux density, which is equal to 1.5 Tesla. So we change the coil into straight wire. First we get the current passing in the coil, and after this we get the number of turns. From the number of turns we get the length of the wire, and after we get the length of the wire, we have the magnetic flux density in the wire, and then we find the force acting on wire by using the law, which is F equal LIB sine theta. We have sine theta and the magnetic flux density and the current intensity and the number and the length of the wire, so we can get the force, which is equal to 1.2. F equals 1.293 Newton. And
Okay, what is meant by the mutual induction between two coils equals 0.1 Henry?
mutual induction, which is denoted by N, equals 0.1
Oh,
Henry. I'll give you to make definition by easy method. EMF equals M delta I over delta T. Mutual induction is equal to 0.1, corresponding to EMF is equal to also 0.1 volt. So we can make definition. 0.1 is coefficient of mutual induction, which induces 0.1 volt in secondary coil when the rate of change of current 1 ampere per second. I will tell you again, 0.1 Henry is coefficient of mutual induction, which induces 0.1 volt in the secondary coil when the rate of change of current 1 ampere per second in primary coil. So I will write it, 0.1 Henry is coefficient of mutual induction, induces 0.1 volt in secondary coil when rate of current 1 ampere per second in primary coil. This is the coefficient of mutual induction. And
what is meant by the wavelength of a transverse wave equal 20 centimeter?
wavelength equal 20 centimeter. We know that transverse waves composed of successive crests and the trough. The distance between two successive crests, or the distance between two successive trough, which is equal to lambda. So 20 centimeter is distance between two successive crests or two successive trough. Or we can say the distance between two successive points having the same phase that's equal to the 20 centimeter is the wavelength. And
What is meant by the refractive index of light between the glass and the water equals 0.5?
N, refractive index between glass and water, is equal to 1 or 0.5.
0.5.
0.5. So the ratio between absolute refractive index between water and glass is equal to 0.5. This is relative refractive index between glass and water.
What is meant by the atmospheric pressure at the sea level at a certain time equal 1.013 bar?
BA, atmospheric pressure, is equal to 1.013 bar, is equivalent to pressure arising from weight of mercury column of length 0.76 meter and cross-sectional area 1 meter square at 0 degree. So 1.013 bar is equivalent to the pressure arising from a weight of mercury column of length 0.76 meter and the cross-sectional area is 1 meter square at 0 degree.
Okay, draw a labeled diagram of the HE and NE laser, then state the properties of the laser beam.
Helium neon laser, HE, NE laser. At the end of this tube made of Pyrex, the end of this tube, there is a resonance cavity and connected to high AC voltage in order to give energy for neon, and the neon reaches to inversion population or to be excited. This resonance cavity. Helium neon, we choose helium and neon because they are close from metastable state. Metastable state of energy level. So helium gives energy to neon and the neon will be excited in inversion population. We want only to draw this apparatus only, and after this we write the properties of laser or characteristics of laser. Laser beam. First, monochromaticity or monochromatic. It means it has only one wavelength. It has only one wavelength. That means its spectral width is very narrow. Spectral width is very narrow as shown in the figure. Spectral width is very narrow. This is the first characteristic of laser, monochromaticity or monochromatic. It means it has only wavelengths. Its spectral width is very narrow. And the second property, intensity. Intensity. laser beam does not follow inverse square law, which is intensity of light inversely proportional to the distance, to d square. Laser beam does not follow this law. As the distance of laser beam increases, the intensity of radiation does not change or remains constant. And the third, coherent. Coherent. It means photon of laser emit at same time and same direction. So it has maximum amplitude. It has maximum amplitude. Third, collimation. Collimation. It means the scattering power of laser is very, very, very small. So laser beam, characteristic of laser beam highly monochromatic. It means it has only one wavelength. The spectral width is very narrow. Laser beam does not follow inverse square law. We can say about this laser intensity. And laser beam has collimation. It means scattering power is very, very small, so it can reach to very, very big distance. And also collimation, intensity, and monochromaticity and coherent. And another question?
The opposite electronic circuit represents a combination gate for a special job. Complete the table for this circuit.
Yeah. I will draw this electronic circuit. This electronic circuit contains OR and NOT and AND. OR and gate and NOT this AND NOT and NOT gate. It means inverter. It means the signal will be high, it comes out low. A, B, and out. The truth table we will complete the truth table. A, B, and out. The first 0, 0, and the second 0, 1, and 1, 0, and 1, 1. We know that in NOT, if the signal is 0, it comes out 1, and if the signal is 1, it comes out 0. It becomes as inverter. And also AND, the two must be closed in order to give 1. So 0, 0, it gives 0, and 1, 0, it gives 0, and 1, 0 gives 1, and 1, 1 gives 0, because 1, 1, 1 gives 0, 0, and the NOT will be 0. So the complete of this table 0, 0, 1, and 0. This is the complete of the electronic circuit.
طبعا نروح لفاصل يا مستر محمود، نرجع نكمل أسئلتنا.